Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about an RXJS library operator called switchMap. This operator is very popular. It's used to orchestrate multiple sequential observables. So observable 1 has to be emitted before observable 2 and so on and so forth. They are sequence. In comparison, the fork join operator in RxJS have these observables happen at the same time in parallel. So fork joins, if something has to happen, the observable 1, 2, 3, 4 must complete successfully before we move on to the next step. These four guys have to happen successfully together. That's in parallel. And this switch map, in contrast to fork join, it's something have to happen sequentially. Observable 1 has to emit value. That value is consumed by a function which returns an observable 2, which in turn emits value is consumed by the next guy, and the next function takes the value emitted by the observable 2 and then return another observable 3 and so on and so forth. So the observable that emits a value before another observable is the source observable. The second observable is the inner observable. And this whole chain of observables all together, because eventually another observable is emitted at the end of the chain. And this whole thing is called the result observable. So a lot of things are better demonstrated than explained. I will give you one silly example here. This input box, when you click on submit, it is unobservable because it emits value. It can emit as many value as you want because the user can enter something, say account number is ABC, and then submit, and click on submit again, or change the value, click on submit again. So this input box with this submit button keeps emitting values whenever user click on submit. When you grab this account number, what do? You make an API call. You, based on this account number, grab some data from database. So here, let me submit ABC. We have 3 agreement IDs associated with this account, got returned and displayed. So this observable, the input box, is the source observable. The API call against the database returns an inner observable. This whole thing is called the result observable. I will show you the code. Here. Okay, so this here I have defined a submit account number subject. This subject is a special type of observable in RxJS library. So this allows me to associate that button click on submit to this submit account number subject observable. So whenever you click on submit, this observable emit the value in that input box. And here you can see in my onInit lifecycle, I have the source observable submit account number subject, and use the pipe function to chain the next observable. So whenever you submit the value account number in the input box, this account number is consumed by this function. Here I used arrow function because my function is very simple. You can use curly braces instead of arrow function. So this function can do a lot of things, console log, do this, do that. And then eventually the last step, you have to use the return. Because this arrow function, I do not have right at return. This is already return value. If it's a curly braces, you have to use return another observable, which is a database call, get agreements by account number. So the value emitted by the source observable, which is the input box, is consumed, its account number is consumed by the function inside of this switchMap operator, which returns another observable. And this observable returns 3 agreement IDs. We saw that on the web app page, yeah. And you can chain another switchMap. So another function consumes the 3 IDs, which returns something else. Then that something else can be consumed again in another switchMap. So you can have switchMap, switchMap, switchMap. You can chain all these observables. In the end, the observable returned by the final this API call will be consumed, will be subscribed, will be consumed in the final step. So this is basically switchMap. You want something happen sequentially, and that's the switchMap. And the switch refers to value switch. If I submit another value, I entered ABC, then I entered DEF and click on submit. The previous API calls, if they are not finished yet, they all get cancelled, because this web application deals with only one account. So you submit DEF, if the ABC, the previously submitted value, the chain reaction is still going on, they all get cancelled. So that's the switch. You switch values. The source observable emit a new value. All previous operations, API call, chain of API calls, they all get cancelled. Now, what about the map? The map is, switch map. Map is very simple. You have a value emitted by the source observable. It is consumed by a function defined inside of this switch map operator. That function takes the emitted value and return another observable. So each return value, emitted value, is mapped to a new observable. And this can go on and on. This value emitted by the second observable can be consumed by another switch map operator and return a third observable. So the map part is from the emitted value to a new observable in this chain reaction. That's the map part, from value to observable. The switch part is any new value emitted cancels out all the previous operations. So that is the switch map. So with the switch map, you guarantee these things happen sequentially. And if your user pranks you, ABC, and then click on 100 times, does this make 100 API calls? No. The chain reaction stops. All the previous got canceled out. So the user cannot prank you. Only the newest value matters. That's the switch part. All the previous values got discarded. You switch to the latest value submitted. Okay, I hope this tutorial is helpful. Thank you.